Hey, it's Jesse from the Vegas Guys Locker Room. You guys ever thought about starting your own podcast? Whether it be for business, personal, or simply talking about the things you love? Well, I can honestly say when we started our podcast, it was the best decision and it's the most fun we've ever had. But starting a new podcast can be overwhelming at times. And that's where Buzzsprout comes in. Buzzsprout is the best way to start your own professional podcast. They're so good, they've already helped out over 100,000 podcasters get their message out to the world. Buzzsprout offers you so many tools, like a great-looking podcast website, audio players that you can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, and tools to promote your episodes, and more and more and more. Buzzsprout even gets your show listed on every major podcast platform, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. They provide so many tools to help you get started with tutorials on YouTube, podcast tutorials, everything you may need to get your journey started. So if you're looking to start your professional podcast today, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you and help support our show. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is the Vegas Guys Locker Room. I'm your host, Jay Vegas, aka Jesse. Listen, we're the show that covers all things pro hockey, pro football, both trending news, stats, and picks, and also a little sprinkle of some fantasy implications. So, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you. It is Super Bowl week. That is what everyone is talking about. Of course, we're going to get into that, pick our matchups, and look at the spread and what the betting community is looking at. But first, we're going to start off with a little NHL talk. We just had All-Star weekend go by, and it was in Toronto. And it was a great showing. I watched the skills competition. I watched the games. Everything was fantastic. The only thing I really didn't like is the new style of picking they did. They did the schoolyard style selection with everybody kind of picking their teams like back in the day. And it was, to me, it was a little interesting. I didn't feel it. I tried to watch it. Really wasn't getting into it. Decided to move on to something else. I wasn't a big fan of it. I was not a big fan of it. But then you get into the skills competition, and I'm telling you, that was the Connor McDavid show. My goodness, if you guys have not had a chance to watch what he put on as a show in that skills competition, please do so, because that was amazing what he did. Gets the high points. Remember, in these skill competitions for the NHL, the overall winner gets $1 million, and Connor McDavid cashed that check, and it was insane to watch. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely get on the NHL.com and watch those highlights. That man is amazing to watch play hockey. I mean, it is something that truly you will look back on and be like, wow, I got to see that man play hockey, because it is like watching Wayne Gretzky play. But the buzz in Toronto was huge. I mean, having the All-Star game there was incredible, especially with no All-Star game next year. They are bringing back the World Championships of Hockey aspect to it, which the players are very excited about, because then it gets them back into that, and also the Olympics in 2 years, which is, I know a lot of people, including Connor McDavid himself, is very excited about representing their countries in the Olympics and getting a chance to compete for that gold medal. So no All-Star game next year, but there will be the following year along with the Olympics. So that should be very exciting to see. I know a lot of the players are really just amped up about it. It's been a long time since we've got to see the stars of the NHL play in the Winter Games. I believe the last time we were able to play, the NHL guys were able to play in the Olympics. Connor McDavid was only 17, so he was still too young. So to see guys really get in there and play, it's going to be amazing to watch. It's going to make great TV. As for the rest of the All-Star break, of course, Team Maple Leafs, as I like to call them, because that had Austin Matthews on there, but it also had his teammates alongside him, and they pull out the victory in that tournament-style All-Star, winning the team cumulative $1 million for everybody on the team. Congratulations to them. It was fun to watch. You know, of course, it's an All-Star game. Nobody's hitting anybody. Nobody's really going at it that hard, but it was fun to watch some of the offensive moves and watch guys showcase their skill sets. The goaltenders were amazing. That was the great part about it, was this whole setup is not set up for goaltenders to be successful. And those guys, I thought, played really well against the world's best and the league's best. It was fun to watch. It was really, really fun to watch. Of course, none of our VGK guys were in the All-Star game. A lot of them, due to injuries, everybody wanted to get healthy. Completely understandable. It was a long season last year. Winning the memory, hockey, I believe, is the hardest trophy to win because you are playing so many months out of the year. That's why it's incredible to see what Pittsburgh did all those years ago, what Tampa Bay is doing now, making long runs into the playoffs year after year. That is a lot of hockey. I mean, you're talking from October to June if you get into the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, it's a long season. So, no VGK in the All-Star game this year, but looks like we're getting a little bit healthier. I know we've been bitten by that injury bug. We did come out and play our first game after the All-Star break and did stop Connor McDavid and said Oilers in their quest to tie the record for most consecutive wins in a row, ending their streak at 16, not letting them get to that 17th win on us. So the Knights look good. William Karlsson, him and his flow were back in the lineup. He gets the empty netter at the end of the game. Good to see him back on the ice. It has been a while. We need that 200-foot game from him, and he did. Everybody on that team, they look good. They look spry. It was good to see them. They look quick. I know towards the All-Star break, they were looking a little slow. I know a lot of guys playing a lot of minutes due to all the injuries. So in and out of the lineup, it's good. Hopefully we can get back to some consistency, some continuity with getting healthier and getting back into this. Right now we're still sitting behind Vancouver in the standings. But a lot of moves to be made, and it's going to be fun to see after this All-Star break how things go. So really excited to see what the VGK is going to come up. Hopefully we can make a back-to-back title run here in Vegas. Speaking of Vegas, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is in town, and that is what everyone is talking about. The news. It is Super Bowl week, guys. It's been fantastic to watch. We broke down the, of course, championship games last week. Now we're getting into the Super Bowl matchups. I'll tell you what, the buzz around Vegas has been stellar. I mean, it's been incredible. You got Mandalay Bay doing the NFL experience down there. Hopefully you guys had a chance to go down there and check that out. Heard it's a lot of fun. I looked online. It's reasonably priced. I believe you can get tickets to enjoy that for $30-something a ticket to go down there and have a good time and, let your kids run around and have a good time doing that stuff. So good family fun. Hopefully you guys do get a chance to check that out and go down to Mandalay Bay and enjoy the festivities down there. I know a lot of festivities going around for the adults. A lot of places having watch parties. A lot of places having watch parties and such. Circus having big events. Everywhere's having big events for the big game. It should be fun. So please get yourself on a reserve list if you do feel like you need to get out. I know a lot of Vegas locals. We're going to go to work and we're going to go home and watch the game. I know that is my game plan. I don't want to be out and about during that whole situation. So I know a lot of Vegas locals will be at home, but if in case you do want to get out there, please look up, make reservations, make sure you're not in the cold trying to figure out what you're going to do for this big game experience. But speaking of the big game, ticket prices. My goodness. I know a couple guys because I am a Niners fan, even though we live in Vegas, and of course the Raiders are our local team now. But it wasn't always the case. I wasn't around. I was around when Oakland was the Raider country. So having the Niners in, I know a lot of people have asked, am I going to get a chance to go to the game? And the answer is absolutely not. There is no way I'm going to be able to filter myself into that. I am not important enough to get a ticket to this game, and I am not buying a ticket to this game. It's at something like, what is it? I think that the cheapest ticket I know a couple of days ago was something like $8,400 or something like that. My God. And if you're coming from out of town, the room rates are astronomical. I mean, you're going to stay at Stratosphere and hopefully not get robbed, and you're looking at $300 for a room. Yeah, it's interesting. So curious to see how that goes. I mean, a lot of people, hey, you got the money for it. Hey, I hope you saved up for it and you knew this Super Bowl was coming and you specifically saved up for this. Kudos to you. Enjoy the game. I hope you have a good time. I know the Super Bowl is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I just can't afford to shell out that kind of money. So that being said, I hope everybody gets a chance and finds somewhere to enjoy the game, represent your team. If you're a Niners or a Kansas City Chiefs fan, please enjoy the game. Enjoy it responsibly. Be safe out there, guys. All right? So we're talking matchups. I know everybody's queuing in on these matchups, especially the quarterback matchup. Everybody's picking Mahomes. Listen, Mahomes has got the experience. He's the new go-to guy. He is the new Tom Brady. He's undoubtedly the best quarterback in the league. That being said, a lot of people are keying on these quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, second year in the league, Mr. Irrelevant, shining through. His whole story has been amazing. I don't think it's going to come down to the quarterback matchup. I think in the end, it's going to come down to defensive stand-up, and whoever has that ball last might be able to be the one that pulls this game off. I mean, the strengths of KC's defense and the strengths of the Niners defense match up really well. I think San Fran's defense might be slightly overrated, and I believe Kansas City's defense might be slightly underrated compared to what you've seen and what you hear, and especially the names you see on there. I believe I talked about it last week with the Niners pass rush. They're like the Marvel Avengers, but yet their run-stopping ability is like the Care Bears. I mean, they just can't stop the run. And if you let Isaiah Pacheco get started, he's going to eat you up. He's proven it already in the playoffs. It's going to come down to who wins this O-line, D-line battle. Who's going to win the line of scrimmage? And, listen, you got Chris Jones, who's probably one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He's very versatile. You saw them move against Buffalo, move him to the outside. He is a stud athlete. The Niners are going to have to step this up. We made the trade for Chase Young early in the year. He needs to get that ball rolling. He needs to produce. Nick Bosa, he looked good. He looked good last week. He had a couple sacks, getting to the quarterback, but the run stopping. Hargrave, Armstead, you guys they got to bottleneck it and stop the run. You got Fred Warner, Greenlaw's back there. These guys are gonna get their tackles, but you got to stop the run. If you bottle up the run, yes, I know it's a bad thing. Let Mahomes beat you, because he probably will. But it's going to take everything the Niners got to pull off this win. I know they're favored by 2 points. I'm kind of trying to figure out why, and I get it. It's a power ranking thing. But every time you look and you turn on the media and everybody talking about the game, it's always about Kansas City and how Kansas City should be the next dynasty. They should run away with this game. Or they should win this game. I wouldn't say run away with this game, but I say win this game. And that's kind of the feeling that everybody's getting from this, which is understandable. I mean, they've been there. They've got the experience. The Niners, listen, everybody's, it's a rematch. The Niners don't have a lot of guys left on that team that were there before. I mean, they just don't. There's not a whole lot of guys left. Ward, who's our best corner, was playing on Kansas City's, team last time we met in the Super Bowl. So it's going to be interesting to watch. I think it's going to be a great game. Trying to keep my expectations in check because it is Patrick Mahomes. The man gets flagged 6 minutes after the play is over. I've never seen somebody get flags that late. Not even Tom Brady got flags that late. I mean, I couldn't believe during that Buffalo game to see some of the flags that came out. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see how the refereeing goes in this one. I know the head referee going into this game is an ex-49er, which I found kind of ironic. So I'm kind of curious on how this whole situation is going to go. You got the Swifties out there. Do you want to let them down with Taylor Swift not winning the Super Bowl with her man? It's going to be fun. And, I know a lot of people, including myself, listen, I am kind of tired of the whole Taylor Swift narrative, but she has brought a lot of exposure to the game. It is what it is. Listen, it's cool. It gets guys out there to get your daughters watching football with you a little bit. Take the win. Guys, did your girlfriend all of a sudden show a little interest in watching the big game with you? Take the win. It's okay, man. It's okay that, listen. And I believe Colin Cowherd said it the best. Did your father or your grandfather complain about people who watch the game? Nah, you just watch the game. Don't sweat the small stuff. That was the best thing. Don't sweat the small stuff. Take the W's while you can get them. If you got girls, girl dads, hey, take the win if girls want to sit down and watch the game with you just because Taylor Swift might pop on the TV. Enjoy it, right? So looking at the betting spreads and the picks I'm liking for this week, it's interesting because I'm not looking at any of the sporting apps or the betting apps that are here in Vegas. I am simply looking at the score, app that I have on my phone. Looks like they have it as a 1.5 points favorite for the Niners, which means to tell you the money's probably going on Kansas City side. And all things lead to, if you believe in defense wins championships, that defensively the Kansas City Chiefs are the more powerful team. I mean, they are. They're ranked better in every aspect except for rushing yards. But if you look offensively, the Niners lead in every category. Now, I believe this was flip-flop the last time they played in the Super Bowl, where it was the Niners had the better defense. So it's going to be curious to see because, listen, everybody says defense wins championships, but nowadays, is that really the truth? Is that the truth nowadays? Because I don't know. I don't know anymore. So, I mean, it's funny. You're looking at the point totals, neither team has given up more than 17 points on average per game, but they're also scoring at a higher rate. The Niners are scoring almost 29 points, and the Chiefs are scoring at least 20, about 22 points a game. So this game should be interesting to watch. I know the over-under on it, I believe on the Score app, they have it at 47.5 right now. Let me make sure. Yeah, they have it at 47.5 on that app. I don't know where you're getting your betting information for, but 47.5. I think I'm taking the under on that one. I really do with these two defenses and the way they play the game. And I think you're going to see a lot of the running game, trying to see who wins that running game battle to open up the passing game. I think it'll be a tight-knit game. I don't think anybody's going to get out to a big lead. You may see a 7-point lead at one point, or maybe somebody get up 10 if there's a turnover. But I think that, and ultimately, I believe this game comes down in the end as a close game, a one-possession game. And I'm going to take the under on the 47.5. It's hard for me not to be biased, and I'm trying not to be, but I'm going to take my Niners. I think it's an offensive league now. Defense is, everybody says defense wins championships, but nowadays, it's hard to play defense. It's hard to play defense in this league. It's all going to depend on if Mahomes gets his tissue flags where he's crying to the ref and all of a sudden it comes out, 6 minutes after the play's over. I'm curious to see how that goes, to be honest with you, because he does get him. And, hey, I know Brady got a lot of late flags in his day. We'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath. I'm just hoping for a great Super Bowl, good time. I'm going to spend it with my family and watch the game at home. Bought a new TV to watch it on, so I'm excited about that. That's my big excitement, and that's going to be my enjoyment. But I am going to take the Niners and the under in this game. I think it's close to that 47.5, but I think it comes in under just with the two defenses and the way this is going to play out. I wouldn't be shocked for a very low-scoring first half. Both teams kind of getting out there and jabbing at each other, counter-punching, seeing how that goes. But I am going to take the Niners. I'm going to take the under in my betting portion. Two-team parlay. If you have a chance, take McCaffrey to get a touchdown because that's a very good bet for him to get in the end zone. Always take that bet. And it should be a good game to watch. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Listen, it's the big game. It's the big game. So get out there, enjoy it with some friends, enjoy it with family. Make sure you're being safe out there. Please do not drink and drive if you're going out to watch the game. Be safe. Keep others safe around you. And guys, I will catch you in the next one. We're going to start breaking down our fantasy aspect portion of this next week from a NFL standpoint with the dynasty portion. Listen, you got the NFL draft coming up here in April, so got to start breaking out who people are thinking are going to go first and in the first round and see who might be contributing to your dynasty teams. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Please join us next week. We'll have a brand new show for you. All right, guys, enjoy the big game. Enjoy it with your families. Have fun. Be safe. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.